we are springing forward, and there's something that's pushing up from the soil. There's something that, as I looked at changing my watch and went out online to figure out how to change my watch, and I discovered that it has 3 things that I needed to do. I needed to adjust, and to look at the mode, and to start. It's what it says, and the answers are so close at hand, and pardon the pun. The answers are close at hand, are already inside us. And so those were my 3 things as far as springing forward. I know I so much like gaining an hour rather than losing an hour, but as I look at that adjustment, there's small gifts in that, and there's also big gifts in that. And there's a simple yet beautiful story about Mother Teresa. She was once at an airport, and she had a really stressed out travel companion who says, "We have a problem with our flight." And doesn't it feel like we've kind of taken off on a plane about, 11 months ago? We've taken off on a plane. We've had some turbulence and adjustment in our navigation. And then we've kind of been on the tarmac a little bit. And I remember when you didn't used to have the things that come out to you, you had to go out to it. And so on the tarmac. And so sometimes the plane needs to be freshened up and all of that. And my insides, too. I'm taking this as far as what I'm freshening up in my body, my mind, my heart, my soul. There's that freshening up. And to, in essence, dive deep so that we can have a soft place to land and to adjust. And to look at that mode of transportation, to be transported in that. And to start to begin, much like when Mother Teresa had a problem with her flight. She responded, "Well, there's no problems, only gifts." There are small gifts and there are big gifts. Which are you offering? Her friend exclaimed, "Well, I don't know. Our flight is going to be at least 2 hours late." And Mother Teresa calmly said, and kind of that, mischievous gleam that she would have in her eye, and I know that all of us have had that kind of gleam. She said, calmly, "That would be a small gift. I can finish the book that I didn't finish yesterday. I can start a new chapter, and I know that that's such a wonderful opportunity to read that novel that I had picked up." What a novel idea, right? Answers are close at hand. Novel idea. And much like spring, we have this universal energy. We have this Christ presence. We have this Buddha spirit, which is pushing up, much like the spring flower. It's pushing up, and it's an exercise for us to stand in our truth, to let go of what no longer serves in our lives, and to replenish and renew and be refreshed by that cleansing, and knowing that as we stand in our truth, and that as we recognize and acknowledge our humanness, that we're bringing the spiritual nature, and we have those qualities and those elements already that are here. So I converse with the universe, much like when I needed to go out and find out how to change my watch. I converse with the universe. I converse with the universe. And sometimes I do that through journaling. Sometimes I do that through reaching out to a friend. Sometimes, and we'll go more into it the next couple weeks, is the ho'oponopono. And I'd like to buy a vowel, usually when I speak Hawaiian. Ho'oponopono is a forgiveness process. So, and I want to do it due diligence, so we'll do more of that. So we'll all be speaking Hawaiian, not only our indigenous friend Norman, but we'll be speaking out of those 12 letters. Even though it seems limiting that the Hawaiian alphabet has 12 letters, that we'll be speaking that language soon too. When I look at those exercises, whether it's journaling, whether it's exploring how am I being and where are we going. So we're kind of on this tarmac and get to look around and letting go of what no longer serves us, that baggage that needed to stay on the claim area. Just leave it there. And to know that we have an abundance of love, abundance of peacefulness, and graciously are that already. And in our letting go, we know that we can speak from that place and have that power of our emotions, because there is emotive power. We're all human, and we've been given these gifts. And I couldn't have selected this topic, but and like last week was a new unity in Sowing Seeds of Community for this whole month. Wow. In 1993, there was a research team which was led by Glenn Ryan and Roland McCready. They measured the effect of certain emotions. So we have some measurables, we have some tangibles, we know that we have things that show up in our lives because we've set some intent, and we have some feelings and emotion around that. And the research used subjects that were trained to manage their feelings and to empower what worked for them and to let go of what no longer served them. And what the research did was it took DNA samples. And out of these DNA samples, and we have got a doctor in the house who can verify this, I'm sure, the researchers took DNA samples of the subjects when they were feeling gratitude, love, appreciation, and as well, they were measured when they were feeling anger, fear, frustration, or success. And when the subjects felt anger, fear, frustration, or success, their DNA responded by tightening up. It became shorter and switched off, and what it did was it switched off a lot of the DNA codes. But when the subjects felt love and joy and gratitude and appreciation, when we could let go of some of that, the shutdown of the DNA codes was reversed. It was simply reversed. The strands of DNA relaxed. They unwound. In fact, they lengthened. So those of us that want to have that greater expansion, the greater good, that which lengthened, it increased the feelings of love, gratitude, and appreciation. It increased their body's resistance to disease about 300,000 times. We are so powerful in this innate energy that we've been given. Been given small gifts and big gifts. We have that complete package. Dr. Ernest Holmes writes, God speaks in a language more subtle than the human language, without a tongue, in the universal language of spiritual emotion, which is instinctive, and it's held in common. We have that in common by all people who have ever lived. And it's the universal language of emotion, sense, feeling, intuition. And we can increase. How do we do this? How do we increase our feeling tone of love and appreciation and gratitude? How? And I want to go into this more next week. So it's kind of like that novel we were talking about earlier. You've kind of seen the end of the chapter already, but we're going to go back and do it more due diligence. So we'll keep you in suspense and bring more of this back next week. But we'll give you a clue as far as increasing our emotional intelligence. In a nutshell, what that is, it's the ability to be able to recognize and regulate our own emotions, while also empathizing with others and maintaining an awareness of our resources and looking at other resources that are available. So we're just going to skip through, but we'll give you like the Cliff's Notes, and then we'll revisit. We'll go deeper next week. So number one is know ourselves. And then we get to be open to feedback and identify where we are throughout the day. So we can identify throughout the day what no longer serves us, and we can identify which does serve us throughout the day. And we can practice mindfulness in all areas and move beyond limits. We can move beyond our limits. We can also breathe really, really deeply. Really, really deeply. All those blood vessels, like the DNA study, we can begin to lengthen and to rest and recuperate and recharge and renew and be replenished. We can also question ourselves. Sometimes I don't have to believe everything I think. We can question our stories and to let ourselves off the hook, give ourselves a break. And then we can begin to celebrate positive emotions even more. And then watch them surface. Watch them surface. Instead of the tightness, it can be that loosening up. That loosening up, which that whatever's germinating is pushing up through the soil. So we empathize, and we can also make active listening, whether it's listening to ourselves and what our thoughts are and our feelings are. We can listen to ourselves, actively listening to that, and also as well as others. So feelings. We have a soft place to land. It's a soft place to land, and we can be still, much like we just experienced, that there is peace, that we can be in this place of stillness, that we could be that's our only thing that we do. We do that this week, and we be still, and everything else comes forth out of that stillness, out of that energy. So there's a sacred spot where we can sit down and we can converse with the universe. We have a sacred spot here. We have a sacred spot as we walk out the door. We know that as we look around in our home, we have comfort and nurturing and nourishing. And we look at our neighbors. We look at the connection that we have. We know that as we sit down and we pray affirmatively too, we have a place that's safe, that we can mourn anything that we feel a loss. We know that whatever the separation that's occurred here within the community is, there's sadness, there's loss. There's that sadness and the loss. And much like any family, we have that experience of our family. And we know that there is our own grieving process and moving through that in our own timing and in our own ways. And we know that we have friends that we can rely upon, family. We have sacred ceremony much like this. And we can be in a place of reverence with ourselves and quietly grow through loss. And to just realize that it's a natural progression, that it's organic, and to just allow that natural progression for us, because we're all unique. We all have this unique experience. And sometimes when there is turbulence, much like that plane, we are forced to find answers. And when we're forced to find answers sometimes, it just means that we're preparing for something really special. Really, really special. We're preparing for that. Because we know we're deserving. We know we're of the divine. We know we're of the divine nature that's evolving. And there's that spiritual evolvement, and it's much like seeing a movie. I would love to go to the dollar movie this afternoon, and we get closer to that plot. We get closer to whatever that vital element is in that story. We get closer, and it ups our ante. It ups that energy, and we find those answers, and we stand in whatever the truth is, as standing in and speaking from that place of graciousness and peacefulness and love, standing in that place that we know to be true and letting go of what no longer serves us. And so we do have a soft place to land. So if in our life we're feeling somewhat, if it's traumatized, if we picked the movie that had a little bit more drama than we had wanted, and I prefer romantic comedies, if anyone has recommendations, I'm looking for recommendations, because that's, not only journaling and going deeper with the outpouring of that, and maybe calling a friend and reading that. Hey, here's my journal. What do hey, can support me in my discovery? Support. I'm reaching out. Support me in what that is, because there's a safe, soft spot where we can land, and so we can be still. Here we have a sacred spot where we can, in essence, spring forward in our life and adjust. And to look at what mode works for us. What mode? We know we have a whole packet of tools. Music has been really wonderful. Music, and how soothing that can be, music, and listening to that, and have that be a conversation to converse with the universe. And I know we are so blessed to have this community, and to love people, to just show up and to just love people. I love to love people. Just show up and love people. And sometimes with love comes a sensitivity with our family members. We are a family, and yeah, I say this with sensitivity, that we oftentimes don't know what our journey is, and we may not know what other people's journey is too. And so for those that leave the nest, and perhaps we welcome and they fly back, and maybe they're hummingbirds and like to, whatever, to just know that there is this nest which is available for us for our comfort and our nurturing, that which welcomes the presence, that which welcomes the connection in our lives, that which empowers our lives, that which inspires us to be the nurturing place and to be in this amazing place. We can rebuild. We can rebuild ourselves. We can rest and recuperate and know that our body knows what to do, that we have those DNA codes. It already knows that we're already capable, and that we can lengthen and stretch in that relaxation, and knowing that there is a focus on a new life. And much like those who have given birth, there's labor pains. And sometimes then when we're there and in it, then there's the time, whatever that adjustment, whatever that mode is that gets us there in the transportation of it, and whatever we start to focus. Even if it's a little step, we start to focus on the new life. We may not, we've had the labor pains, and we start to focus on the new life. And so as we focus on the new life, it's for everyone. It's knowing that there's that start of the new life. There's the being the lighthearted. We know that seasons change. It's a natural thing. It's a natural progression. So we can look and we can know that the time to rest is now, that we can embrace the people who are in our life. We can embrace the connection. And I want to invite us to just maybe look around the room and embrace the connection that's already here. It's already here. This connection is here. And knowing that no matter what those seasons that change, just take a moment for your own self and to just look around the room and to honor and respect, and to know that each and every one here and each and every one who's an extended member of our family has the dignity, has the respect, has the honoring, because that's what we're bringing. We're bringing the honoring of that. So we can connect with people, and knowing that we are all sensitive. I know I'm sensitive. And that we can have that sensitivity and to focus on that which is coming forth as this new life. So like Star Trek, anyone ever watch Star Trek? We're all a bit of a hologram of the whole. We're all an integral part of that whole. Whether we're present, whether we've been here forever, whether we're here for the very first time. We're here for the first time, really, in this connection, knowing that the divine is always renewing and regenerating itself. And so if you imagine yourself ever on a holodeck, and look, they must be having so much fun. And so they're inside the holodeck, and then they stand inside of this, and there's transformation that takes place. And then they lengthen, they widen their experience. They have the greater yet to be, this greater yet to be looking out from within. And I've heard that what happens in the holodeck stays in the holodeck. Much like we have the sacred spot. We have the sacred spot that we're sitting in right now. We have a sacred spot over by the prosperity fountain in the practitioner room that's set up if you want to just go chill. We also will have the discussion group, and people can just hang with each other. So we have small gifts and we have big gifts. And I know that each and every one here is a big gift, and that everyone who's part of our family right here and now and part of our extended family is a big gift. So let's just take a moment and receive the knowingness of the gift that we truly are. Knowing that the universe is ever available to converse with, and that there is the conversation which is already taking place. There is something that is already taking place in this quiet moment. So turning within for this quiet moment and being still, and knowing that in the stillness, yes, there is peace, and embracing this connection. There is the divine source, which is all. It is that which is the infinite intelligence, knowing that there is the divine guidance and wisdom, which shows up in beautiful ways. And I know that there is that which is empowering and welcoming and nurturing as this presence and power, that it is flowing in, through, and as everything and everyone. And that we are truly in this unified field of total acceptance, in this unified field which is so vibrant and alive and filled with the loving kindness and the life, and extending the compassion. I know that there is the compassion which is in this room. I know that there is this compassion which is in our greater community, which is in this spiritual family, and that there is that sense of which is living as spirit as us, as pure spirit. And that there is this place that is within each and every one of us that is untouched by anything that is external circumstances, and knowing that that which is clear and true and beautiful and gracious and grace-filled and peaceful is coming forward, and allowing it to be in fruition and fulfillment of all of that divine design, divine pattern, divine desire, and knowing that there truly is the fulfillment of the inspired hearts of this beautiful community. So just breathing deeply and profoundly and allowing it to be, knowing that there is this cleansing place of honoring and respecting and knowing that there is this sacred spot right here and right now. So in gratitude, I release this word into the action of the law, knowing that in complete confidence and poise and assurance that it is already fulfilled. And so be it, and so it is. Please join in a few moments of stillness as the practitioners rise.